right?
Yeah, sure.
So I thought, maybe I could give you for free a simple little test that anyone can use to identify, hey, should you be a little more aggressive in the markets or a little less aggressive?
Welcome to Retirement Today. I'm Jonathan Berglund, and with me, as always, is Michael Reese, a certified financial planning professional for over 25 years, helping those of you out there in Radio Land get to and through retirement successfully. Today, Mike, we're talking about market volatility, and that's just the fun topic of the day, right? I mean,
yep, that's right.
Can't seem to get away from it, right?
Markets go up and down. They do it all the time.
They do.
It turns out I was having a great conversation with one of my clients. They've been with me for many, many years. And they said to me, we were having a conversation when the markets were down, and they said, Mike, wait a minute. And he was joking, of course. He said, didn't you promise me that as long as I work with you, that the stock market will never go down? I said, let's call him Joe. That's not his real name, but I said, no, Joe, I think I remember telling you that I can promise you that markets go both up and down.
Indeed, yes.
They go in both directions. And he was joking about it. He's like, oh, yeah, I guess you did say that. But yeah, the stock market, it goes up, it goes down. Nobody seems to get excited about it when it's going up.
Right. It's expected, right? Just taken for granted.
Yeah, but when it goes down, boy, it gets real exciting because, it does tend to go up slowly, but it goes down quickly.
Indeed.
And, one of the things that I think we forget is if you look at history, the stock market tends to have a bad year, like a double-digit down year, like a big bad year, usually about once every 5 years. And once we got through 2000, 2001, 2002, right? So the 20 years after that, we've kind of experienced really only one bad market environment.
Right.
And that was 2008. So what's happening, in recent past or recent history is, markets are in 2022. They have we're halfway through the year. They're down, the large cap companies are down 20%.
Yep.
The NASDAQ is down over 30%.
Yeah.
Markets are getting crushed.
Indeed.
And, that creates a lot of uncertainty. It creates a lot of discomfort. A lot of people are really worried. And Jonathan, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but a lot of people should be worried because many of you listening, your portfolios, if we're real honest about things, are not set up the way they should be. Many of you are taking on far more risks than you ever thought you should be. You might be just sitting there like, oh no, what do I do? Do I ride it out? Do I do something? And I think that's going to be a good topic today of, when markets are down, what should you do? Should you ride it out? Should you do something about it?
Right.
And I think that today is going to be a great time to talk about why the concept of buy and hold is, when you are younger, a great idea. It works out fine. But when you're north of age, 55 probably, you're north of age 55, buy and hold might be one of the dumber things you could possibly do. And so I think we should talk about that today as well.
I like it.
Right? So, and I've just probably gone and offended half of our listening audience by saying that.
Don't take it too hard, right?
Yeah, so I just keep an open mind with me today on this one. This reminds me, I write for Kiplinger now and then.
Okay.
And it seems like every time I write an article for Kiplinger, they call me or they email me and say, Mike, you're blowing up our website. Because I like to be a little, I like to put in some titles and topics that maybe fly in the face of conventional thinking a little bit.
Okay.
So an example of that was, I remember one of the articles I wrote was, how your 401k, once you retire, is quite possibly the worst possible account you can hold. Well,
not wrong.
If you are a regular reader of Kiplinger, you have been brainwashed over the years to believe that your 401k represents the most awesome sauce investment of all time. It's like the most awesome account you could possibly hold ever, period. It's a no-brainer. Of course, 401ks are wonderful, right? And the article, though, did not say 401ks are bad. It said once you retire, it may be the worst account you can possibly own, specifically from a tax perspective, right?
Right.
Now, that is a true statement.
Indeed.
But, all the bobbleheads at Kiplinger, they saw a 401k bad idea at any point in life, and they freaked out and basically exploded the website with comments about how I was evil, I was Satan, I was just a overall bad and stupid person. And how could Kiplinger ever publish something like that?
So they didn't read the article is what you're saying.
Yeah, they shocker, right?
Right.
But anyway, today I want to talk more about on the risk side. So historically speaking, if you look at a lot of research over time, this concept of buy and hold has been, how do we say it? It's been promoted, right?
Yeah.
And it's been promoted by the financial industry.
Mm-hmm.
They say, hey, research says you should just invest your money and hold on. Now, by the way, before we go any further, who benefits there? If the market goes up or the market goes down, who benefits either way with that concept?
Yeah, hint, it's not you, right? It's the financial services companies.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, think about it. Fidelity, let's say you're invested in Fidelity mutual funds. Market goes up. You're happy and Fidelity's happy because Fidelity's getting paid their fees. What if the market goes down? Are you still happy?
Definitely not.
Not so much. But as long as you don't do anything, who's still getting paid their fees?
Fidelity.
Yeah, so who's still happy?
Yeah, exactly. Fidelity.
So in whose best interest is it already for you to just buy and hold? We know that good times or bad times, who wins either way? Well, the industry does.
Yeah.
The mutual fund families benefit, right? Fidelity benefits, Vanguard benefits, everybody in the financial industry benefits, but guess who doesn't maybe benefit? Maybe you. So buying and holding, this is what I compare it to, right? In fact, I'm going to do this in the next segment.
Okay.
In the next segment, I'm going to talk about what I compare it to, but I want you to think about this. If you are 28, 29, 30 years old, your late 20s, heck, if you're even in your early 40s, I have no problem with buying into the stock market and holding on. Because the reality is, at that point in your life, you have a magic 4-letter word working in your favor. Any idea what that word is, Jonathan?
I'm going to guess time.
Yes, the magic 4-letter word of time. You're 42 years old and the market's down. Who cares? In fact, you should be all excited about it. You should be saying, this is awesome. I get to buy as I'm putting money in my 401k, which when you're working is a good account. I'm putting money in my 401k. I'm buying shares cheap.
Yeah.
I'm not going to need the money for 20 years, right? If you're 42 years old, you probably won't need the money for 20 years. And guess what? 20 years from now, I can't guarantee the market's going to be higher. But boy, I think I'll bet the house on it.
Yeah, pretty good chance.
Yeah, there's an overwhelming probability that the market will be higher in 20 years than it is today, right? So if you're 42, this is awesome. What if you are 57 years old and you want to retire in 5 years? Will the market be higher 5 years from today or not?
That's a coin toss.
The answer is I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope so, but I don't know, right? I hope so, but I don't know. And so for a 42-year-old to buy and hold, at least at that stage of life, that works out great. Yeah. But if you're 57, not so great.
Yeah.
Not so great. You got to be smarter. You've got to be smarter when you start getting into your late 50s and early 60s. So that's what we want to really talk about tonight is, what do you want to do? How do you do that? How do you make smart decisions when it comes to your investing once you've gotten north of, say, 55?
Mm-hmm.
my daughter Sarah in our office, she decided she somehow made a deal with Coca-Cola so that we could be an official partner of Coca-Cola.
Oh, yeah, official.
Yes. Now, by the way, I couldn't give a hoot between, I don't know, you could put Pepsi or Coke in front of me. I don't know the difference.
Oh, come on, Mike.
I hardly drink.
Oh, you just made a lot of people mad with that.
I don't really know the difference. I mean, I don't.
Oh, boy.
You could blind taste test me. I wouldn't know. But I will tell you that the benefit of this Coca-Cola partnership is that we get these cool old-fashioned bottles in the office now.
They're pretty neat, yeah.
And one of those bottles is filled with the Fanta Orange, which I am a huge fan of, and I'm drinking while we're doing the radio show today. So everyone listening, you get to listen to me drink Fanta Orange on the show.
It puts them in that much of a better mood, right?
Gives me a little pep in my step. So here you go. This is everything you need to know about investing. And this is appropriate, particularly if you're over the age of 55. So here you go. I was in Georgetown, up in our Georgetown office. And Becky, my wife, calls me. She says, hey, we've got some friends coming in the airport tonight. Do you mind driving down and pick them up? And I'm thinking to myself, this is awesome because I'm in Georgetown. What's the fastest way to get to the airport?
Right down the toll road.
Yeah, go down I-130, right?
Right, 80 miles an hour. Speed limit.
This is where and as a guy, oh my God, this is awesome. I get to drive on. I think the speed limit is, I don't know what
it's 80, yeah. Yeah, it's 80. Yeah, speed limit's 80, yeah.
It's up there. And I'm all excited, right? I'm thinking, I was thinking maybe 85, whatever. So, and it's a beautiful sunny day. It's the summertime. It's like 90 degrees. I've got the sunroof open, a couple windows open, just loving it. So I'm saying, all right, super, I'm going to do it. So I leave the office in Georgetown. I go to merge on to I-130.
Yep.
And I'm speeding up. I'm hitting the accelerator. I'm getting up there like 85 miles an hour. So I enter the highway at speed.
Mm-hmm. Good for you, by the way.
And I'm feeling very, I'm just so happy. Big smile plastered on my face. And then I noticed something right away. I noticed that while I was driving 85, guess what I was doing?
What's that?
I was blocking traffic.
You're blocking
because everybody's going way faster. Everybody's like cruising down the road.
Get out of the way, Mike. Yeah.
It's a beautiful day. The sun is out. There's not a cloud in the sky. You can see the road straight. You see for miles in front of you. Yeah. And so everybody's got the pedal to the metal. I'm holding up traffic by driving 85. So I have to push the pedal down a little more and catch up to traffic. So I'm not a nuisance. I don't want to be a nuisance. So now I'm driving 90 something, right? We're all cruising. I mean, the semi trucks are doing 90. We're just cruising down the road. Everybody's great and everything's great. And then about maybe 2/3 of the way maybe halfway, 2/3 of the way, somewhere around there, to the airport, I noticed in the distance we saw like a line of clouds in the distance because it looked like, holy cow, there's a line of clouds.
An ominous
line of clouds. And those clouds look like rain.
Ah, okay.
It looks like those clouds might be coming our way and those clouds look like rain. What do you think magically happened as soon as everybody started seeing those clouds coming our way? What did they all do?
Tapping the brakes just a little bit.
They start slowing down.
Yeah.
They start slowing down. Yet you could still see for miles on the road. The road was still dry. It was straight, mostly sunny. Why would we start slowing down? Well, because it might rain soon. And then what happened? Then the clouds got closer, closer, closer. Next thing you know, we got one of those like downpours.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a sprinkle.
Yeah.
Right? It was just crushed, like to the degree that literally we're driving like 25, 30 miles an hour because you can barely see.
Wow.
Right? It was one of those.
Yeah.
And it didn't last long. It just probably lasted 5 or 10 minutes. I mean, hardly any time at all. And the line of clouds went through. Sun comes back out again. The road starts drying and everybody starts speeding up again. So, how does that story relate to investing? Well, here's the thing. When you're driving down the road, if everything looks good and the sky is clear and the wind is low and the road is straight, hey, go ahead. put the pedal to the metal, fire your way down the road, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if the market's good and the economy's good and everything looks beautiful, fire away, go stocks, put all your money in stocks and fire your way down the road. Everything works. But when clouds start coming in and when it starts raining, we know when we're driving, we're smart enough to know, hey, we probably should slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine when it's raining so hard that you can't see and we're all driving like 25, 30 miles an hour? What if some idiot's cruising down the road at 90 miles an hour still because they're buy and holding?
Okay, I'm getting it now. That's good.
They're buy and holding their way to 90 miles an hour when it's raining so hard, everybody else is going 25, 30. What do you think is going to happen to that idiot?
Yeah, not good things. Crash and burn, right?
They're going to be. Just please let me crash and burn. My point is, we know when we're driving. If the conditions change, we need to change how we drive. Just like if we're going down a straight road and we suddenly hit curves, we should probably slow down. Well, the same is true with investing. Look, if the sky is clear and everything looks good, the economy looks good, the markets are good, all the news is good, fine. Pedal to the metal, drive like crazy. But if the economy starts doing not so good, if a recession looks like it's coming, if the market's not doing so good, that's like clouds. Maybe slow down. Maybe it's time to take some stocks off the table. Maybe dial down the risk a little bit. Maybe move more to cash.
Yep.
Right? So a good example of that is like in a lot of our portfolios this year, in 2022. When we started the year, things were looking pretty decent. We had about 70% of the money sitting in the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
By the time we rolled into June, it was less than 30%. Why? Because the markets, clouds came in. It started raining. It started, winds started whipping up in the markets. It was time to start slowing down. And as a result, a lot of our clients, but what happened? Were they still down, halfway through the year? Yeah, a little bit, but not to the degree that the market was.
Right.
Right. And the secret at investing, it's not making money in the good years. The secret to investing is don't get killed in the bad years.
Right.
Like you want to make money in the markets, don't get killed in the bad years. That's the key. And you just need to have some type of system in place. If you do your own investing, you need to have a system in place that tells you here's when you dial down the risk. Here's when you dial up the risk. And if you're working with an advisor who all they do is they put you in a portfolio and say, all right, here's your allocation. Now just hang on and you're good.
Good luck. Yeah.
That's like saying I'm going to drive 85 miles an hour down I-130, whether it's sunny or rainy, whether it's windy or calm, whether it's, snowing or sleeting. You're just going 85 no matter what, right? Which is known as dumb with a capital D.
There you go.
You got to be smarter than that. It's time for my favorite segment. And this segment is, what kind of laws would I put in place if I were king for a day? I don't know about you, Jonathan. I just have fun saying that.
I know you do, and I love like watching you say it. The expression on your face. We have a good time. It's obviously a good time. If you can't tell, we're all laughs and smiles here.
All right, so here we go. So every week, if you haven't been listening, I have this segment where I say, if I were king for a day, what are a couple of laws that I would enact?
Right.
What are a couple laws or rules? And one of those are going to be financially related. And then the other one would be just, something that either annoys me or that I just think would be really cool. Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, fair enough.
So we'll always start with the financial. This is a financial show. We're supposed to talk about financial topics.
We do our best.
Yeah. So here's something that I think I would want to do. A law that I would want to put in place if I were a king when it comes to a financial related topic.
Okay.
So the other day, here we go.
Here's the story. I love it.
This always starts with something, right? The other day, I was talking to one of my kids who shall remain unnamed because I don't want to embarrass them.
Okay. All right.
But I have 5 children.
So pick one.
4 of them have graduated high school. 3 of them have graduated college, and one of them's about to graduate college. I still have a 16-year-old at home, so she's still has high school to go.
Yep.
Anyway, we were going over a budget with one of my kids. And this child, we're going over the numbers, that this child did not, this was a new experience, right, for them. And then I said, well, pull out your bank account. Let's see what's going on there. They had never balanced their bank account. They didn't know what I meant.
Yeah, that's a foreign
Right.
concept, right? Yeah.
This same child, they had no idea how investments work. They just said, Dad, I put the money in there. Just tell me how to set it up.
Right.
Right. In other words, basic financial concepts like investing. What's a stock? What's a bond?
Yeah.
And what's the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Right. This child knew nothing about that at all. Basic things like budgeting. Never did that. This is all brand new to this child. By the way, who's partially my fault because I'm glad I helped them out, but I never talked to them about it. So that's part on me too. All right. And just all these things like balancing checkbooks.
Maybe writing a check.
They don't do that. Everything's
Yeah, I know, right?
online. Everything's credit card and debit card.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do credit card work? That was the other thing.
Oh yeah.
I had to show them, look at all the interest you're paying it's like they've got money in the bank to pay their credit card bill, but they don't pay the full credit card. They say, no, they say I only have to pay this much.
Yeah.
They didn't understand that the interest that they were paying because they weren't paying off their credit card every month, right? Basic stuff. And then I saw in the news how there are a couple of different states out there. I think Florida is one of them. I think Michigan might be one of them, where if you want to graduate high school, you must pass a class that talks about these basic financial concepts.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, and of course I saw that news report right after I tried to help one of my children who will remain on nameless, something like that, remain nameless.
There you go.
I thought to myself, what a great idea. I mean, in school, they teach you how to read and write.
Uh-huh.
They teach you basic math. This same kid took classes in like calculus
Right.
that they'll never use in their entire life.
Definitely not. Yeah.
But they never got a class on basic financial management.
Yeah. We had one of those when I was in high school, and I took it, by the way, just because that's my brain, my nature. But it was an elective, and there was 5 other kids in there with me.
Yeah, not required.
Not a big.
Yet
thing.
all of us have to be able to handle, budgeting, dealing with how do taxes work, dealing with credit cards, maybe investing. We all have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Why isn't there a requirement
It should be
in every state in the country that if you graduate high school, this is part of the required class material?
Yeah.
So I think as king for a day, that one of my laws will be that in every high school in the country, if you want to graduate, you must pass a class on basic financial concepts.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I love that one. That'd be fantastic. It helps so many people too, right?
Right. There we go. So now I can go ahead and say, announce it,
Yes.
that it is now law. There we go. Got a new law. Okay. Now we'll go to my fun one.
A fun one.
Gotta have a fun one. Sometimes the fun one is about me being annoyed about people who drive,
Yeah.
but this is going to be different. This one's different.
Okay.
So if you're listening to the show, you know that I'm excited. I'm drinking some Fanta orange soda here. This is bringing me back to my childhood.
Taking them back. Yeah.
Yeah, taking me back to the good old days. I remember when I was a kid, Jonathan, I had a paper route, a newspaper route.
Okay.
Back when I was a kid, we still had newspapers.
Yeah.
Not so much today.
Not so much. Yeah.
Everything's online. But back then we had newspapers. I had a paper route. And I remember, I would go and it's called collect, collect the dues for the paper, whatever it was.
Subscriptions, yeah,
The subscription, yeah. Anyway, I would make money. And on those days, I would go to our local IGA store, very small store, and, like a little not a convenience store, bigger than a convenience store, smaller than a Buc-ee's. But
Gosh.
anyway, I'd go to the store and I would buy candy and soda. And by the way, orange Fanta, that was on my list.
It was on the list.
Every time I have some orange Fanta, I think back to my Paperboy days. But there was a candy bar that I loved.
Yeah.
It was called a Marathon Bar.
Marathon bar.
Do you have any idea what that is?
I'm racking my brain here trying to think about it. No, I don't.
I doubt it because I think they stopped making them before
I don't think
your day.
I've seen one, yeah.
But I do encourage you to Google it.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Will do.
there were these things called Marathon Bars, and they were like for $0.25 in those days or something. But they were like, it was like a big long bar, like maybe a foot long in length.
Oh, wow. Really? Okay.
And flat, and it was like, kind of a I don't know,
Is it like
weave.
caramel or nuts?
It was a kind of like hard caramel surrounded by milk chocolate.
Okay. Okay.
It was awesome. I love those things. But I think that they just stopped making them.
Yeah.
Which I find to be just criminal. How do you stop making a Marathon
Take
bar?
the joy away.
I almost feel like I think that there's a huge potential business here by buying the rights to Marathon bars and then just making them again.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
That'd be cool. But anyway, so here's my law. This is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
I'm thinking it should be law that somebody makes that stuff.
Gonna bring it back. You can't let it
Got to
go.
bring it back.
I mean,
I think it should be law. Here's why I think it should be law. I think it should be law that we have our government who does a whole lot of useless stuff. What if we made a law that the government had to create some type of Marathon bar making machine
okay.
that a person could purchase for, I don't know, $100, and then they could make Marathon bars to their heart's delight in their own home.
Just set it up there on the kitchen counter and have it go to work for you.
Press out some Marathon bars. I know. I saw this YouTube thing about, refurbishing a candy making machine back in the 1800s. It was cool. And it made me think about this. So I'm thinking, wouldn't it be cool if our government put some scientists on it, say, here, create a device that makes Marathon bars, and they'll sell it for less than $100, or $129, something like that, that if I wanted to, I could buy it and I could make all the Marathon bars I wanted for myself.
I like it. It
you like that
packages it
idea?
and everything too for you, right? It's got to do the whole thing.
Yeah, because you got to be able to
It's
unwrap
got to
it.
look like it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's there on the shelf and have a stack of them there for
like
you
my
all
own
the
little
time.
manufacturing facility
Yes.
of personal Marathon bars.
That's cool. I'm sure everybody has their favorite candy bar, right? And perhaps yours has been discontinued. So maybe they can do it for other candy bars as well.
No, just Marathon bars.
Just okay.
Because I'm the king. Now, if you were king for a day, if you were king for a day, you could pick your own darn candy. I do like that. That's actually a good twist. Maybe that'll be next week's thing. But yeah, the twist of the government has to have their scientists create a machine that makes multiple types of candy bars that just spits them out, and you can buy that equipment and just make your own at home. But I'm going to stick with Marathon bars because they were my favorite.
Fair enough. Fair
Right?
enough. I would try one. I'm sure it'd be great.
So they're just basically chocolate covered caramel. That's all it really was. But what was really cool is you could then put it in like the refrigerator or the freezer.
Yeah, there you go.
And then, oh my gosh,
Just
even-
heightens it, right?
even today, you give me dark chocolate, like caramel that is covered with dark chocolate and with sea salt.
Yeah.
I put those things in the freezer. Oh my gosh. Oh, that
changes it. Something about the coldness.
Heaven on earth. That's what that is. So here we go. I'm going to have to enact this law. So this is my law. My law is that the government has to hire scientists to create a machine, right? That we can all buy that's not overpriced, like for like $150 or less. They got to create a machine that we can buy, and at home we can make our own Marathon bars. That's my law.
Let's do it.
Are we good?
Yes.
All right, folks. It is law.
Back to the topic of the day, market volatility and buy and hold and all those fun things. Where are we at, Mike? What does it really mean?
Yeah, so here you go. We talked about how if you're younger, buy and hold is fine. But you get north of age 55 and you just got to be smarter. right?
Yeah, sure.
So I thought, maybe I could give you for free a simple little test that anyone can use to identify, hey, should you be a little more aggressive in the markets or a little less aggressive?
Okay.
How about that?
Yeah.
So there are these things called simple moving averages, right? A simple moving average is, let's say you looked at the 100-day moving average. All you're looking at is on a 100-day moving average, you just say, hey, what has the stock market, what's the close of the stock market been for the past 100 days on average, right? That's all it is. Super simple. On average, how's the market doing? That's what it does. Well, you can, for free and quite easily on, say, Yahoo Finance, right? Go to finance.yahoo.com, right? You type in the ticker symbol SPY. SPY, that's the stock market, the S&P 500. That takes you to kind of a little page. And then one of the tabs says charts. So you open up the chart, right? You hit the chart tab. And then what you do is it shows you a chart. They give you different time frames you can look at. I would recommend maybe 1 year, right? Look at 1 year. And then there's another little tab that says comparison or indicator.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
So you click on the indicator. There's two of them. One says comparison, one says indicator. You click the indicator and the indicator button. And then as it comes up, you're just going to type in moving average, or you'll see it. Probably you'll come right up on a down drop, like the
drop down menu.
Drop down menu. Yeah, you'll see it. Simple moving average. So you click on that. And then you click on the box, and here's the number you want. You want 160 days. 160. So on Yahoo Finance, just kind of go through their little process. And by the way, you can Google this. Go to YouTube and say, how do I look at moving averages on Yahoo Finance? And I guarantee there's about 14,000 videos that'll tell you how to do it, right? But you want to look at the 160-day moving average on the SPY. And, real important, you want to look at it 1 day at a time. It's not a week at a time. You want 1 year with each vertical line be representing the daily activity in the market. Mm-hmm. So you want the 160-day moving average measured a day at a time. And all you do is on the first day of each month, you kind of plug that. You go to Yahoo Finance. You say, hey, put a chart out, the 160-day moving average in comparison to the stock market. And here's what you do. If the stock market is above that line, guess what? The sun's out.
The sun's out.
You can feel comfortable being in the market. Things are probably looking good. That means the market's doing better than it has on average. Mm-hmm. What if it's below? What if the market is below that moving average?
Seeing some clouds.
Now it's raining. In fact, it's probably pouring. It's time to say, I don't like where the market's going. Maybe I should avoid or scale back the risk that I'm taking. Right. So following this simple little indicator, you would have been maybe in both May and June of 2022, both tough months. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't have been in the market. You would have said, it's below the moving average. I better maybe move to cash for a little bit, or I better really reduce my risk for a little bit.
Right.
And hey, maybe you say, instead of holding, maybe you're used to holding 70% stocks. Maybe you cut it in half, 35. Mm-hmm. You'd still be down a little bit, but not like everybody else is getting
hammered.
torched,
Yeah.
Right. So simple idea for you, the 160-day moving average. I've heard people in our industry, by the way, Jonathan, they swear up and down on the 200-day moving average or the 100 or the 50 or something else. And it really boggles my mind, because in today's world, there are, in my world, there are all these lovely programs that I have access to.
Right.
That I can plug in different moving average, different time periods. Mm-hmm. And it tells you, here's the optimal number.
This is it.
This is the number. This is what you should be looking at. And it keeps coming up. 160. If you went with 165, that would be acceptable as well. But 160, 165, that's where you want to be. And in the markets, that's kind of like, what is that, half a year, 6 months or something like that?
Almost, yeah. Getting close.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Because you don't have weekends, so it's actually a little longer than that.
That's a good point, yeah.
But the point I'm just trying to get to is this, should you make all your investment decisions based upon that one little moving average? Of course you don't.
No.
That's like dumb, right?
Yeah.
That's not what I'm trying to share with you. I'm just trying to tell you, especially if you're doing your own investing, right? You're doing your own investing. This is a great little indicator that you can use to give yourself some guidance as to how aggressive you might want to be with your investing.
Mm-hmm.
If the market is above the moving average, you can be a little more aggressive. If it's below the moving average, be a little less aggressive. Be more conservative, right?
Makes sense.
But here's the bigger issue. How many financial advisors out there, Jonathan, are trained to say, nope, here's what you should do. Ask somebody some questions about their risk, their willingness to take risk.
Right.
Put them in a pretty pie shape, right? Put them in a portfolio that...
It's got to look pretty, right?
It's got to look pretty, a lot of colors. Put them in a pie shape, put them in a portfolio, and then tell them just buy and hold.
That's it. Just sit there.
How many advisors are trained to do that?
Very, very many.
Almost, vast majority.
Most, I would say, yeah.
Vast majority.
Yeah.
And why are they trained that way? Who does that benefit?
Yeah, it's the industry they work for.
It benefits the industry because think about it. If you are a financial advisor and you go to work for some big firm, put a name on it that they're going to train you how to, they're going to train you how to be an advisor.
Mm-hmm.
And think about their biases as they're training you. They want you to do something. They want you to be a profitable advisor. For who?
For them.
For them.
Yeah, first and foremost.
You've got to be profitable for them. So they're going to teach you, here's how you do things in such a way that we as a company make the biggest profit.
Yeah.
And at the same time, this is going to hopefully help the clients to some degree. But more than anything, you got to make money as far as they're concerned, right? The whole focus is not how do we do things that provides the highest value to the client. That's not the focus. The focus is how do we do things to provide the highest value to the name of the company on the door.
Yeah. Yep.
Right?
Unfortunately.
It shouldn't be that way, but that's how it is. That's just reality. So one of the nice things that we have, we're an independent firm.
Yeah.
Right? Great. We're compensated via fees. We just need to make money for our clients. We make money for the clients. Clients win, we win. Clients lose, we lose. Right? That's how it works. Mm-hmm. We're directly, the way we manage money for clients, the way we're compensated, we are directly in the same, on the same side of the table as
we're aligned.
We're aligned. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. So because we're aligned, do clients ever want to lose money?
No.
No, I don't want them to lose money either.
No, right.
That doesn't help me.
No.
That doesn't help me at all.
No benefit.
No benefit. So I don't want them to lose money, but I know that they're not going to make money every single year.
That's the way it goes. Yeah.
That's how investing works. Yeah. So what do I want to do? When times are good, I want to be able to help them make as much as possible. But when times are bad, now we want to lose as little as possible. And the only way you do that is by recognizing, turning the dial of risk. When markets are good, take a little more risk. When markets are going poorly, reduce the risk. Mm-hmm. And just be smart about it. You don't have to be a genius. Just be smart about it, right? Not that hard. All right. I got to wrap up because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Before we wrap today, if you're sitting there, you're saying, Mike, this stuff you're talking about makes so much sense, but my advisor doesn't do it. Or maybe you don't know how to do it for yourself. You want a little bit of help. Give us a call. We'll put together a personalized Retire Right report for you. It's absolutely free. RIGHT is an acronym. It stands for Risk, Income, Growth, Healthcare, and Taxes, the 5 areas you must make great decisions on when it comes to your retirement planning. If you saved at least $200,000 for retirement and you're one of the first 10 callers right now, this is your last chance. We'll put this together for you absolutely free of charge, and we will help show you, here's how you can manage money intelligently so you maximize your returns in good years, keep your risk to a minimum bad. So, Jonathan, as we wrap up the show, what's our number?
Give us a call, 512-886-5850. Again, that's 512-886-5850. It is after hours, so you'll get our answering service. We'll get your name, number, and set up a time to have a discussion and get you on your way to the Retire Right Report. Again, the number, 512-886-5850.
This is truly a no-brainer. Let's get your planning right so that you can truly enjoy your best that is yet to come. All right, folks, hope you enjoyed the show. We'll talk to you again next week.